Chicago eatery chain Portillo is out with its first earnings report since going public in October. Shares were down about 22% at the lows, then briefly turned positive. Now they're down around 7%. The company saying on its conference call it was able to pass along higher costs to consumers, successfully navigate supply chain snarls, and reassured it can maintain strong profit margins. Joining me now is Portillo CEO Michael Osenloo. It's a very fun company name in your name, Michael. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you very much for having me.
I haven't had the chance to try this yet, but if we talk any more about it, are you in this? Are you on the East Coast? Where are you guys?
Well, we're based out of Chicago, so we're primarily in Chicago, but we have restaurants in Florida. We go as far as Florida, and then the other coast we have California, Arizona. We're in 9 states now across the Midwest and the 2 coasts.
Do you want to be in all states? I mean, I know when we look back at the history of companies like Shake Shack, a big part of their valuation was always predicated on how many restaurants they could open.
Yeah, I mean, look, we shared this in our public filings. We anticipate getting to 600 restaurants eventually. That's a pretty audacious number given we're at 68 today. And we'll keep expanding across the Midwest, and then we're going to go selectively to the Sun Belt. Eventually, we'll be in all states, but for the foreseeable future, we're just going to expand across the Midwest. We're going to be in the states of Florida, Arizona, and we're opening in Texas at the end of next year, which will be super exciting for us.
And people seem to like the fact that so far you've never closed a restaurant in your 58-year history, so you seem to know where to go and how to run this well. Is this the most challenging time you might have faced in that 58 years in terms of maintaining profit margins and having labor supply and all of that?
Well, I'm going to use a hackneyed expression because everyone says this, but it is legitimately unprecedented times, right? I don't know anything in the last 18 months in my professional experience that has happened in the past. It's been just crazy, right? And it's from a business standpoint, you're playing a game of whack-a-mole. The minute you think you've solved one problem, something else is popping up. So it's been an incredibly challenging time. But then I'd say that for companies that can handle that, it's actually a really great time because you can really set yourselves apart from the rest.
Most of your costs have to be labor, right? I would assume that basically the food itself, those inputs, while they're probably up, are still a relatively small percentage overall, or what does the mix look like?
No, you'd be surprised, actually. Our number one cost is our food cost.
Wow.
And it's, I think, partially because we give so much value to our guests. Every ingredient that we put into our food is really well thought out. It's super high quality. So the number one cost for us is actually food cost. The number 2 is labor. And the combination of them are, about 58% of our total cost.
I mean, maybe that's a good thing these days when I've seen people dig through corporate headcount numbers and say the higher they are, the more concerned we are about where this is going. So to be able to run a little bit lean, which it sounds like you do, has to be attractive. How is that going to change? Has the pandemic and all of these issues made you look at this and go, how can we better execute each location to maximize profit and minimize cost?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think a corollary to your question is, does being public make a difference in how you run this company? And I would tell you on both those issues, the key for us is investing in talent and people in the front line, right? The most important people in a Portillo's restaurant are the people in the front line who take care of our guests. It's in some ways our business is super simple, right? Highly engaged, awesome team members in the front lines taking care of guests is how this business performs. And so what we'll keep on doing is investing heavily in our frontline people and in our general managers to lead those frontline people. That's I think one of the key differentiators for us. And that's how we have every one of our restaurants perform so well. I mean, keep in mind, the average Portillo's is, well over $8 million in AUV and employs 100 people. That's a legitimate general manager job. And so taking care of those people is the key to our success.